And I rise in support of his bill. Mr. Speaker, this is around the 15th time that we're trying to engage the other body in conversation about how we can reopen the government. They just simply refuse to talk about anything. We've sent over CRs, we've sent over amendments, we've sent over bills. This is the 11th of the many appropriations bills, CRs, at sequester level, that we are going to send to the Senate, and they just simply refuse to talk. I've never seen such a show of negligence in attendance to public duties. Normally, the time-honored tradition in the Congress since the founding of this great country, when the House passes a measure and the Senate passes a measure and they differ, we appoint conferees. Senate picks out some members, House picks out some members. We send them off to the back room to work out the differences and bring the bills back. That's the way it's operated for all these years. And yet the Senate just simply refuses to talk anything about how to reopen the government. Now, this bill will help protect our homeland from terrorists, drug traffickers, smugglers, other criminals, and facilitates legal immigration and ongoing investigations. Right now, our frontline operations are operating at a bare minimum. The men and women who are at work to protect our borders and our ports of entry are working without pay. And employers cannot guarantee the lawful immigration status of their prospective employees. To reinstate these critical functions, H.J. Res. 79 provides funding for border security efforts at the current annual rate of $18.8 billion. This includes funding for Customs and Border Patrol, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Coast Guard, Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the Office of Biometric Identity Management. These are functions of the federal government that are critical to our safety and well-being. They should not have to suffer the effects of this shutdown. But if we pass this bill today, and if the Senate passes it, and the President signs it into law, it will stop any further adverse effects from befalling our border security while we work toward reopening the entire federal government. Piece by piece, the Republican House has been working toward reopening the government over the past week. And we've done this all with no help, no input from the Senate. The only thing we've heard from the Senate is a resounding no. No to working with us on a task force or a committee to reopen the federal government. No to talking with us about our concerns over the multitude of fiscal crises we face. And despite this, the House has passed 15 bills funding the government over the past week on top of the continuing resolutions we put forward prior to the end of the fiscal year and the regular appropriations bills the House passed. Imagine what we could do if the Senate would come to the table and work with us. We could solve the problem. There's no question about it. We are never going to be able to get out of this mess if we don't come together, have a real adult conversation, listen to each other earnestly, and negotiate in good faith. This crisis can't be solved by one party alone or one body of the Congress alone. This bill is an effort to keep the ball moving toward our goal of ending the entire government shutdown. The Senate has asked for a clean CR to achieve that end. The funding in this bill is clean and in line with the spending from the last fiscal year. It's essentially what I put forward in my initial clean CR. So I hope that with that in mind, the House and the Senate will pass this bill in short order. I yield back.